Why do we go to art museums? What are we trying to discover or find? Are we looking within ourselves for a connection to religious beliefs? Or perhaps a way to look into the past and experience the social setting of times and eras that have gone by? It could be solely for the appreciation of viewing art and the benefit of cool air conditioning on a hot summer's day. Much of the subject matter in the San Diego Museum of Art is focused on people, whether known to many like the Madonna and Child, or unknown but very relatable, like this young girl shielding a candle flame flickering in an open field. What does the flame symbolize, and what or who is she remembering? The figures we see can represent ordinary people doing ordinary things, like this woman reading, or members of aristocracy posing for a portrait even during the most trying of times. This one is of Henrietta Maria, who was the Queen of England until her husband, King Charles I, was tried and executed for treason in 1649. Paintings like these capture a person or an event in a single moment of time. We don't see what occurred before, and we can only guess what will happen after. When we put each of these individual moments together, only then do we get a span of time. And time is what is known to the land and trees depicted in these landscapes. You can almost sense the power from the water's waves and the clouds moving effortlessly in the wind. Mountain ranges have been on Earth for billions of years. Some trees, like the Great Basin bristlecone pine, this one appropriately named Methuselah, have lived on this planet for over 4,800 years. Natural features that have existed for so long would see our lives flourish and wither, like so many snowflakes in the countless winters and summers witnessed by them over the millennia. If we draw out the existence of life even further, our Earth seems to be the only planet with life. The whole of humanity ponders whether or not life exists outside of our planet. In fact, a search online results in only a chance or evidence of life, but no direct confirmation. Some people are convinced Earth is unique and is the sole proprietor of life in the entirety of the universe. For those of us who believe in the possibility of other life, however minute, contact with an otherworldly civilization depends upon a grading ramp called the Kardashev scale. This scale, developed in 1964 by astronomer Nikolai Kardashev, essentially describes the technological advancement of a society through its energy consumption, and subsequently the likelihood of that civilization to make contact with others external to their planet, if they exist. On the Kardashev scale, a Type 1 civilization can harness all the energy generated by its planet, to the point where they can even control weather and natural events like earthquakes or hurricanes. A Type 2 civilization has the technology to utilize all the power created from their sun. The little dot seen here is Mercury, 1/3 the size of Earth, passing in front of our sun in the background. A Dyson sphere would hypothetically enclose our sun in a sphere of solar panels to collect its energy. However, looking at the size of the sun in relation to the size of Mercury or Earth, it would be a formidable task, to say the least. A Type 3 civilization has the knowledge to capture all energy from their galaxy. Our Milky Way galaxy has an estimated 100 to 400 billion stars. Imagine setting up a Dyson sphere for our Sun, then replicating it across the Milky Way 100 billion times, once for each star in the sky. Even if we could construct one a year, it would take us far longer than the age of the universe, determined by astronomers to be only 13.7 billion years old. There have been additional type classifications added to the Kardashev scale. Our human civilization on Earth is currently rated below the lowest level, right around type 0.72. This means it will be a long way off before we populate our solar system, and an even longer duration before contacting any alien life forms, if they exist. What drives us to explore is the belief that something exists past what we can see and touch. In a similar manner, European art from the medieval, Renaissance, and Baroque eras inspired observers to appreciate the parts of their religion which were less tangible and more spiritual. Here is a painting of Saint Jerome. He points to the trumpet, referencing the Last Judgment. In the background is a lion, which had entered the monastery, causing the other monks to flee. But Saint Jerome saw it had a thorn in its paw. He extracted the thorn, befriending the lion while demonstrating the power of kindness. The lion is almost always present in depictions of Saint Jerome. There are paintings of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. The Holy Family of the Virgin Mary, Saint Joseph, and Jesus are often portrayed with Saint John the Baptist, here holding a bird. Figures such as angels or beings of eternity watch over the events of life. Some of the portraits, like these painted by local artist Carlo Miranda of San Diego, have hyper-realistic detail, almost appearing like a photograph. These are everyday people from the life of the artist. Each looks to be a computer-drawn representation of the real person. In fact, Miranda has a meticulous and painstaking way of creating each piece to look as if the person is virtually standing in front of us. When the lines between actual and virtual are blurred together, it becomes difficult for us to tell what is real and what is not. These oil paintings portray how art imitates life, and much of the art we see nowadays is presented through the technology of the internet. The myriad of ways we interact online have created a virtual world we all live in. We have social media and video calls that supersede in-person conversations. Items are sold and purchased online, contributing to the demise of shopping malls with storefronts closing down or disappearing altogether. It comes to a point where we ask ourselves, what is reality? And at what cost are we willing to sacrifice real-life interactions for virtual ones? This video is part of a virtual reality world. Most of the pictures or footage are taken in the real world, but even that seems to be accomplished as an outside observer instead of an active participant. The research, editing, music composition, voiceover recording, and ultimately the viewing by others all take place on a TV, monitor, or cell phone screen that shows a recreation of the real world through a liquid crystal display. No one will deny the comfort and convenience of virtual reality, but some things are best experienced in person. A focus on persons or people make up the majority of artwork in San Diego's Museum of Art. Many portraits show a person's face, the position of their body, or give us a sense of the feelings they are experiencing. This portrait has the hands of a surgeon and the responsibility he holds, carving a tree of life for his patients. What is significant about this particular painting is the doctor is a surgeon for the artist's wife, Frida Kahlo. Frida Kahlo was a Mexican artist who lived in the first half of the 20th century. Her father was German, but she identified closely with the Mexican people and her indigenous heritage. When she was a child, she was diagnosed with polio. The disease affected her right leg from growing properly, and the year before her death, she would need to have it amputated. Here is Frida Kahlo's prosthetic leg, which she also turned into a work of art, with the red bootstraps and a Chinese dragon on the side. Kahlo is known for her numerous self-portraits, which make up roughly 1/3 of all her paintings. These could be attributed to the isolation she experienced, not only from her affliction with polio, but from another fateful event that occurred in the fall of 1925. Kahlo was preparing to be a physician when, at the age of 18, a bus accident changed the course of her life. An electric streetcar broadsided the wooden bus Kahlo was in, impaling her on a handrail, leaving her with a spine broken in 3 places, a fractured pelvic bone, a broken right leg and collarbone, and a dislocated right foot and shoulder. Her life would become an arduous journey of suffering for the 47 years she existed on this planet, not only from the polio diagnosis, but from the accident as well as the over 32 surgeries she would endure throughout her life. Her dream of becoming a physician was ended by the accident, and though she was often bedridden, she turned to her passion for painting to help her find her identity and cope with the pain she dealt with on a daily basis. Frida Kahlo was quoted saying, "I am not sick, I am broken, but I am happy to be alive as long as I can paint." A comment so simple and straightforward, showing her determination and human spirit to persevere no matter the hardships she faced. Kahlo knew the situation she was in, but also knew her purpose in life. That mindset can benefit all of us. If you are resolute in pursuing your dreams, nothing can stop you from reaching them. The year before she died, Frida Kahlo attended the first solo exhibit of her artwork. She arrived not by car, but by ambulance. She was under doctor's orders for bed rest and was transferred from the gurney to a bed at the gallery. Though she had some fame while she was alive, Frida Kahlo's artwork took on a life of its own over 2 decades after her death in 1954. In 1977, her first painting to sell at auction was "The Tree of Hope Stands Firm." It shows the scars from her spinal surgery and one of the 28 harnesses she had to wear for support. In 1990, Frida Kahlo became the first Latin American artist to break over $1 million at auction with This painting, Diego and I. It was sold again in 2021, breaking another record with a purchase price of $34.9 million. At the time of its sale, Kahlo's painting of her and her husband with the third eye was the most expensive piece of Latin American art. Frida Kahlo became a symbol of the feminist movement and creativity, and represents acceptance of ourselves as we are, as well as the human condition that we all must face in life. In death, there is artwork dedicated to those that have passed on. The Museum of Art has a permanent collection of pieces from tombs of ancient China. Their purpose is to provide sustenance, protection, and entertainment for the recently departed. Their artwork often portrayed who a person was when they were alive, such as a member of the military or a merchant of trade. Ornamented mirrors and offering plates provided balance and stability for the afterlife. Jade was fashioned into circular discs or ceremonial axes and was thought to preserve the body and slow decomposition. Here's a jade weight used to hold down garments in the form of a dog resting. At the rear of the Museum of Art is a large 3-panel piece that may go unnoticed, since it is positioned above the stairs in between floors. This triptych is called The Adventures of Sinbad the Sailor and tells of the 7 voyages he made near Africa, Asia, and the Arabian Sea. The left panel shows Sinbad's crew being captured by a giant, intending to prepare them as a meal. Sinbad and the remainder of his crew escaped by using oversized kebab skewers to stab the giant in the eye. The story is similar to how Odysseus escaped the Cyclops in the Odyssey, but the two were created independent of each other. The center panel has a colossal fish or whale disrupting the ocean around Sinbad's ship. The whale first appeared to be an enormous island with trees and animals living on its back. When one of the crew made a campfire to cook, the whale awakened and dove into the depths, dragging everything and everyone out to sea. The right panel portrays Sinbad's crew wrangling an ancient mythological bird of prey called a roc. The bird was so large it could snatch up an elephant in its talons. Sinbad strapped himself to the leg of the roc, allowing him access to the Valley of Diamonds, inhabited by giant snakes, the natural prey of the rocks. Merchants were said to have thrown large chunks of meat into the valley. When the rocks took the meat, the priceless diamonds were also lodged on their surface. Sinbad knew this, and gathered as many diamonds as he could. He tied himself to a large piece of meat, and when a hungry roc carried him back to its nest, Sinbad escaped with all the diamonds he could carry. In the same way many paintings are portraits of people, sculptures portray figures, like these from Buddhism in East Asia. The form of their body and different postures can convey messages in themselves. The body is neither too muscular nor too slim, to show an ideal balance between the two. This one stands with the index finger and thumb of the hands touching together, to signify the uninterrupted flow of wisdom. An apsara or celestial being flies above, showing the Buddha is worthy of honor not only by humans but by heavenly beings as well. Here sits Guan Yin, a bodhisattva or enlightened being, with a very relaxed pose showing majestic calm and compassion. Whether we view art to appreciate the beauty and creativity, or to be inspired and connected with an artistic or historic past, the San Diego Museum of Art remains one of the main attractions in Balboa Park, where people can experience the wonder and mystery of many artists' creations and discover their own connections with the art and with our world. If you enjoyed this video and all the original music, help this channel grow for free. Leave a comment below, click like, share this video and channel with others, and click the button to subscribe. Thanks for watching San Diego Review.